Hello everyone, this is FantasyEsque and welcome back to The Sims 4 Vampire Amazon Royal Saga with the Salazar Coven. We have here Queen Eden, Lady Catherine and Lady Guinevere doing their final prayers for the queen of the previous generation, Aphrodite Salazar, with the aspect of death, the fairies, which is, a different form of the goddess that takes the spirits to the afterlife, helps them along in their journey just a little bit. So this is what the ladies are getting up to. Before we continue on this path and kind of wrap this up, put the urn where it needs to be placed in the portrait hall and get the others to say their goodbyes, let's quickly go through what we saw in the mini movie. So Queen Aphrodite had gathered the ladies of her coven that served during her time in court, and they went to the throne room of Castle Sheba, where she gave her final address to everyone. And she said it's been an honor to lead the Salazar Coven thus far. She thanked them for their assistance because they helped her quite a lot. She's been relying on them, or she was during the course of her reign, relying on them quite a bit. Similarly to Eden, I feel, who is also quite reliant on her council members. The difference with Aphrodite was that her council members, they weren't necessarily selfish or mean people. They were good vampires who were happy to kind of unite with their sisters/cousins to make sure that everything was going to be good and they would be able to support their queen rather than, controlling or challenging her, which we're seeing with Eden a bit with, Guinevere and even, I suppose, Elaine, who's like biding her time. So nobody was eyeing the queen's position or the queen's power in Aphrodite's time. She had a court full of people who were willing to help her make the best of her role. So she was thanking them for continuing the bloodlines in various cases, and also for helping to bring an end to a very difficult war with the visitants. And then we had Blaze and Luciano come in, and they just look so cool after their makeover, I have to say. But they were ready to escort the queen to the tribute chamber outside, which we have seen numerous times across the generations, of course. Catherine said that, she would make sure that fire tribute would go smoothly to the queen, and we had the physician attending as well. The physician is now back at Castle Eden. She's not here anymore, but she was during the the burning portion of the fire tribute, because she wanted to give a few potions to the ladies so that their pain during the process would be eased a bit. And in the past, obviously, we didn't have stuff like this, or, the role of alchemist slash physician wasn't as prominent, so the fire tribute was a painful process. But now with potions and other magical means, that has become a little bit easier for the ladies involved. They are doing a great sacrifice, and their daughters, to a degree, feel as though they shouldn't have to do it in pain. So that is kind of done, and then we saw the ladies in the fire tribute. Catherine did the final fire dance for them, and she kind of said that she's doing what she's doing because all the ancestors have been doing this from the time of Sheba, or she is doing as the ancestors have done from the time of Sheba, and, to forgive her for this cruelty, and that the goddess would guide their spirits to where they need to go. So that's kind of what we saw, and then one by one our ladies died. One by one, they went down, and I don't know, it felt a bit more peaceful than previous generations have, I feel. It felt a bit more peaceful, their passing, maybe because of these potions that the physician made especially for them. But it felt a bit more peaceful than previous generations. But towards the end there, it was still sad though. It was still very sad seeing them go one by one. And at the end, there was a ghost that came and was mourning the ladies who were passing. And I was so fascinated. I was like, who's this ghost? And actually, guys, it was Lady Zelda. Lady Zelda had come to see her daughters pass because Saphira, Galaxia, and Ciri were the daughters of Lady Zelda, and she came to mourn their passing, which just broke my heart. But also it felt kind of nice that her spirit was there to welcome them into the afterlife and into, the ancestors' fold. So that's just what happened. And just like every generation, we have to deal with it, and we have to get over it, because it is a vampiric process that one must go through to secure the throne and the empire, of course. So, okay, now we can dive in with these guys who are doing like their final prayers with the urn of Aphrodite. So we have the queen who sits right at the front, the priestess with her, and then the next closest relative to the queen, I suppose, which is Guinevere. So Guinevere, along with Eden, is a daughter to Aphrodite. So they get to be in here while the others kind of wait outside. The Dravagers and even Elaine, they wait outside for this process to be complete. And then when the final prayers are done, then we can take the urn and put it where it needs to be placed. So we're actually going to get Catherine to collect the urn. Actually, hold on a second. So Catherine, we'll get her to collect the urn over here. And we'll get these two to finish their prayers. And they'll head on up. And now all of the ladies, hold on a second. We need to form a group. At least I want to, with everyone here. Including Blaze and Luciano, who looks so cool. And actually, Blaze and Luciano were here, I think, in the previous generation for the fire tribute and the deaths that happened with Wisteria even. So they've been through 2 fire tributes. They've been serving in this castle for quite a long time. But the Royal Crypt, we have, let's see, Lady Isadora Salazar, Lady Zelda. Now, Zelda was the one who came to see her daughters pass. Then we have Lady Freya Salazar, Genevieve Salazar, Lady Lilith, Cassandra. Cassandra was the way we pronounced it. So those guys, they're in the Royal Crypt. Now, the queens all stay, like the urns of the queens all stay in Castle Sheba, but not all of the, I feel like not all of the ladies do or should. I don't think all of them do. Like, the cadet branches, I feel like the cadet branches wouldn't stay here necessarily. Or should they? Should they? Because they're an offshoot of the Salazars, maybe. And they shouldn't go to the honor grounds. Because I was thinking, like, only the Salazar women stay here. It's the queens and princesses, not the cadet branches. They, like, become nobility almost. They're kind of above nobility, but below royalty. They're in that weird kind of sub-class, I feel. So they'll probably go in the honor rounds. Now, Zelda is here with the others because she was a Salazar. But from her, the line branched off into the dragons and Dravagers. So because her daughters no longer carry the Salazar name, her daughters, Galaxia, Saphira, Ciri, they're going to go to the honor grounds, I think. It's probably what I'll end up doing. So, okay, let's get the priestess and everyone in the portrait hall. So everyone's going to come to the portrait hall. So we'll go there together. And, guys, look at this. Look at this. This was our beautiful Queen Aphrodite in the previous generation when she first took the throne. It is part of the vampiric custom and practice that whenever a new queen takes on the throne, they do make, like, part of taking on a new castle and whatnot, they do make a trip to Castle Sheba so that they can put up a new portrait of themselves. And then we have over here Eden, our newest queen. Look at that! So this is Queen Eden, in her formal way, of course. But Eden, her portrait is over there, and then, when she passes on, her urn will join her. Okay, Catherine is going to take, let's see, she's going to take Aphrodite's urn and she is going to place it up there. So there we go. And Generation 4 Queen, we will engrave. Okay. Generation 5 Queen. Generation, oh, that's not how you spell generation. Generation 5 Queen. Nice. Yep, Generation 5 Queen. So let's just take a look while we're here at the portraits, guys. Let's take a look. So we have our Generation 6 Queen, Eden Salazar, over there. And then we have Eden's mother, the Generation 4 Queen, who just passed away, Aphrodite Salazar. And then we have Aphrodite's mother, the Generation 4 Queen, Wisteria Salazar, who I feel as though was the most beautiful queen we've ever had, in my opinion. And then we had Wisteria's mother, the Generation 3 Queen, Athena Salazar. And then we had Athena's mother, the Generation 2 Queen, Narcissa Salazar. And then we had Narcissa's mother, our Generation 1 Queen, Sheba Salazar, whose portrait is, I feel, quite hazy. And I don't know, I feel like the portraits have gotten better with age, and I don't know why that is. But yes, and this is crazy, you know why? Because this room is truly a museum, guys. This room is a museum, because I have been doing this particular challenge or legacy for I think 6 years now, and Sheba's portrait is from 6 years ago. 6 years ago. So this castle has been around since then, and this is the same save file from back then. So I remember putting like these portraits down, and we were talking about how, you know, generations down the line, all their daughters and stuff, like this entire portrait hall would fill up, and then we'd have all these queens through the generations, and it would be amazing. And yes, it has been amazing, and that is so, so cool that we can actually look back to all these portraits and kind of see how everything traces back. But my goodness, this just makes me so happy and excited. But let me know, guys, who do you think is was the prettiest queen, like the prettiest Salazar queen? I know a bunch of you like Narcissa. I feel like Narcissa is very popular. Personally, Wisteria is my favorite in terms of the most beautiful queen. But let me know. And also, let me know who your favorite queen is, because their personality is different to their appearance. You might like a certain personality, but not the way they look, or, you know, the other way around. So let me know. I feel as though I feel like Wisteria was a pretty good queen, in all honesty. Before Wisteria, I've always said that Athena was a really strong queen, I feel. Athena was very similar to Sheba, but she was very cruel. She was the closest thing we've had to a tyrant, I think. I mean, yes, Sheba had executions and crap, but I didn't feel like she was a tyrant. Athena was the closest thing to a tyrant. Like, the alchemists were miserable under her. They were miserable. She absolutely butchered them and tortured them, and it was crazy. She did a lot of terrible, terrible things. But she was kind of viewed as a very powerful vampiress. And then I feel like Wisteria was a nicer version, even though Wisteria is actually an evil queen. But I feel like her mother was more evil than her. She was like a necessary evil. I feel like she was a nicer version of Athena. And she did make some, you know, decisions. But the alchemists, I think, they did quite well under her. They weren't, like, persecuted or anything like that. They managed to get quite a few honors in her service. Ouch. In her service. And, yeah, all that was great. But then Wisteria did go ahead and, you know, execute all the ambassadors that one time. So, yeah. Yeah. If you look at it, Aphrodite, she was meek, but she was actually an innocent, I feel. But Aphrodite was very, very kind compared to them. Very kind. And I guess time will tell how Eden's gonna do, because now Eden's got all these evil people in her court who are trying to influence her, like her flippin' sister over here, Guinevere. But anyways, let's go ahead and complete kind of the mourning process And everyone is going to now mourn Aphrodite. So we'll get everyone to go ahead, mourn Aphrodite. So let's go do that, and then I'll get the priestess to leave Sugar Skull offering and to strengthen connection to the spirit world. We'll do that. Everyone mourn, even I think Blaze and Luciano. They are gonna mourn because she's the queen, you know? She's the last queen. So obviously it's like a huge thing for the vampires when a queen of theirs passes away. So that is exactly what everyone's gonna do. They need to grieve to get through this and get over this and move on and be able to do well. I feel like this, look at Guinevere. Is she even Guinevere's not even mourning. Look at her. She is happy because everyone's miserable. And to be honest, with Guinevere, it's kind of like, well, now I don't have to worry about, you know, the older generation. I don't have to worry about them meddling. I have complete control over Eden now. So she's got that. And Eden is very reliant, especially on family, I feel. And she's laughing! She is laughing! She's like, look at these idiots. She's like, look at them. They don't even know how good this is. They don't even know. Oh my goodness, Guinevere, you are evil as can be. You are evil as can be. Oh my goodness. But, what was I gonna say? I feel like this is a rough time for the vampires because it's like the youngsters after the fire tribute is when they become proper full-on adults, right? Because they don't actually have anyone to consult anymore. There is no one to consult, especially the queen. The queen becomes the wisest person in the kingdom or in the coven because she, in terms of vampiric powers, like given her training, has the most experience. She's a master. She's very close to being a grand master. And to be honest, so is Guinevere, but the queen, in terms of, you know, vampiric abilities, is now the wisest one. And that's why it's important for the queen herself to be independent and strong, because everyone should be looking up to her and relying on her. She's supposed to lead them and guide them now, right? It's like symbolic also, the fire tribute. Everyone kind of believes that once, you know, the older generation passes on, then all of their wisdom and all of the wisdom of the ancestors kind of goes to the new queen. Like, she's blessed with all of that, which may or may not be true, but that's kind of the symbolic idea of all of this as well. Like, all of their power, authority goes into Eden. There's no remnants of them left in the living world. And if Eden's weak and she's constantly running to Guinevere and Meredith to solve her problems or to figure things out, then what kind of future does that mean for all of these ladies? Just look at them. I mean, even Elaine is sad, and Elaine's evil. Even she is sad. She's like mourning the previous queen. But Guinevere does not care. Does not care. She is in a sprightly mood. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I think we should probably head over to the honor grounds now so that Catherine can go ahead, and it is daytime, so this would be rough. The others are not going to make the trip to the honor grounds. Catherine is going to go by herself, but she is going to place the rest of the urns down with the noble ladies, and then we're going to head back to the castle and see how everyone is coping with the deaths. Okay, we are at the honor grounds with our priestess, Lady Catherine. We have placed down the tombstones for our ladies, and we are trying to get Catherine to go and leave sugar skull offerings and strengthen their connections to the physical world, and hopefully she doesn't burn in the sun while doing this. In the daytime, it's quite risque. But we have Lady Galaxia Dragon, a Generation 5 priestess, Lady Saphira Dragon, a Generation 5 champion, Lady Siri Dravage, Generation 5 Broodmother, and I put them together there because they're all sisters. And then Lady Yuki Noxa, Generation 5 Scholar. Yuki, who is a cousin to the other two. And actually, Galaxia and Saphira are twin sisters, and then Ceres their half sister, and then Yuki's their cousin. So okay, we'll wrap this up, and then Catherine can escape from the sun, run inside. Come on, let's go. Go on inside. But this is where we typically keep all of our noble ladies, like their remains, so they don't go in the royal crypt. And the cadet branch is also going to be here, which I am fine with. And actually what I might have to do, because you can kind of see the honor grounds is filling up, I'm gonna have to create more. I'm thinking we'll go underground and like create more crypts down here. So I won't like place down another lot. I'm just gonna expand down here. So this is like a layer where the I can't remember what we have a name for the whoever, like the sim who stays at the honor grounds. But I can't remember for the life of me their name. What, the honor grounds keeper? I highly doubt that. I think they have a proper name, but like I can't even remember. Anyways, the soldier assigned to this place is Ray Salazar, one of, I think, Aphrodite's brothers. So one of the queen's uncles. He's over here. He's in charge of making sure everything's okay. So obviously, because he's a vampire, he stays down in this lair. And oh my goodness, I keep forgetting there's a TV there, and it frustrates me so much. And I would love to just get rid of it if possible. But whenever I leave the lot, I forget about it. So I'll leave it be. That's fine. But yes, I think we'll probably expand somewhere down here once we run out of spots, and kind of have a similar kind of crypt situation to what we do at Castle Sheba. There is space to work with all of this. But we're going to go down. We are going to greet him. And then let's complain about problems. Maybe grieve. Maybe just grieve. So she's going to give him the news that, you know, she's gone ahead and she's placed their tombstones in the honor grounds. So that he's aware of that. She's done her duty as priestess, and kind of just handing things over to him to make sure that they're looked after. That is part of his role. What are you thinking about? Woohoo! Come on, let's share with him. Okay, there we go. Just sharing that bit of information with him. And then I think we are ready to kind of head back. Yeah, he's upset. That just made him upset. No, Ray. I mean, it was his sister, so obviously he's upset that his sister's died. But we are going to be going back to Castle Aphrodite, and I kind of, what am I saying? Castle Eden. It's going to take some while to get used to some of these new names. Because we've been so used to, for the past, like, several months, saying a particular castle. And other things. But, oh geez, he is not taking this well at all. Yikes! Oh no, Ray, this is not the way to behave. She's the priestess, and you are just a soldier. She is the priestess. But yes, we are gonna take him back to Castle Eden, and then I kind of want to go through everyone's whims and see how they're coping with the death of our Generation 5 ladies. You know, the queen, their mothers. I'm very curious about all of that. We are back in Castle Eden, and I have to say I was getting very nervous there for a bit because Catherine, look at how low her energy is. Just look. And when your energy gets low, you can die. That's what gets you on the brink of death, which is not fun at all in any capacity. But she had to go out and do those things in the daytime, which is why that happened. Now, see, this frustrates me because these chambers are supposed to be locked off to these particular sims, but some of them have the ability to use bat form, and they can get in anywhere with bat form. The doors, they don't do anything for them. And so Catherine, she's like wanting to go into the physician's quarters to sleep, which I'm not too happy with. She's supposed to be using the coven room, but I'm just realizing that she and the physician have a romance going, so I suppose it's probably appropriate. Like, even if they do that, that's probably okay. because they are romantically involved, so it makes sense that she would prefer to go to, you know, her lover's room than to the coven room, which is more of a public thing. What I'm noticing, though, is that Guinevere is where she shouldn't be. Look at her being so entitled. This is the Queen's chamber, but Guinevere does not care. She's going to be in here using the Queen's chamber as if it is her flippin' own. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, but I want to check to see if we have any whims we can complete on the others. Now the thing about, guys, the thing about Xiomara, and I completely missed this, but you know how her panel here, she's a hybrid, right? Is split. She's got vampiric energy and thirst, but she's got the other stuff too. So that means she has to drink plasma. Also, she could die from the sun, so we have to be very careful about that. But she has like talent points down here. So I was thinking, well, yeah, she's going to be able to use magic. But actually, she doesn't have the option. She doesn't have the option to practice the different kinds of spells. So alchemy is all she's going to be able to do. She is not going to be able to actually progress in any other school of magic. That is her limitation, which I didn't even think about, but that's crazy. That is her limitation. And I was just kind of playing around with things, and then I realized, wait a second. She cannot. And if you look at, like, she's got this vampire option, right? So she can meditate and whatnot. But she doesn't have access to a whole range of other vampiric abilities that the other ladies do. However, if you click on magic, oh, well, now she has the option to practice magic. She did not before. And I was like, wait a second. Why does she not have the option to practice magic? I was freaking out a bit, but it appears it was for naught. She can practice magic, which makes sense because she has talent points, so she should be able to. But yeah, she's an interesting hybrid. And no, we don't even know what that is. We don't even know what that is. Okay, she doesn't have any interesting whims right now, so I suppose we don't have to pay too much attention to that. Catherine, meanwhile, I did not know Catherine could just go to bed. But it makes sense because she doesn't have the sleep of the undead, where she's, you know, limited to the coffins, which I think most of the others are. So that works out. She's the only vampirist, I think, who can sleep in a bed, and she's romantically involved with Xiomara, so that works out. But since she's sleeping and getting her vampire energy up, I don't want to disturb her. Let's see, Meredith. These guys, they're not having any fun whims for each other, but she wants to talk about art, so that is fine. And a lot of the times we associate art in our challenge with, or in this, you know, storyline, we associate art with history, like the vampiric history. So maybe she wants to reflect on the history of the Salza bloodline and maybe their coven, and that's what she wants to do. No, she's sad, but yeah, and she was spending time at the temple, so I imagine she was looking for peace of mind. Oh, Meredith. Okay, Lagatha over here. She's in the... Lagatha! She's... Oh, this is how Lagatha's grieving. Our broodmother, she, like, snuck into the prison, into one of the prison cells, and she is crying herself to sleep in, like, one of the beds here. Lagatha, this is not the place or the way to be. She wants to listen to spooky music. Maybe that's kind of her way of getting peace of mind. Guinevere over here. But look at Guinevere! Look at Guinevere, guys. What is she doing? This is the flippin' queen's, coffin. This is the queen's coffin. You should not be in the royal coffin. I mean, it's one thing to be in her chamber. It's another thing to be using the royal coffin as if you're entitled to it. That belongs to the queen. No, that's like equivalent to sitting on the throne. Look at her. Look at her. She's acting like the queen in private. No respect. She has no respect for her sister whatsoever, which I'm pretty sure was clear from the get-go. But still, how could you just lie there in the coffin like that? Oh my goodness. But Saphira's going to counter that. None of these whims are fun, so we're gonna ignore them. Okay, Eden's here chatting with Xiomara. Eden, how do you want to cope? She wants to get to know Lady Elaine. Okay, she wants to speak to Elaine. Now, you guys might have noticed, but Elaine is no longer with us over here in the main castle, and that's because, like I discussed in the previous episode, when we left Castle Sheba, we let Lady Elaine stay back there because she is the castle keeper. So that's kind of when we decided to do her transition after the morning. But it seems as though Eden wants to check up on Eden and see how she is finding maybe her new role at the castle. And maybe she wants to talk a little bit about the fire tribute and such. So let's see if we can summon... We're going to summon Elaine to Castle Eden because everyone wants to spend a bit of time with each other, so we'll go do that. And Catherine is still sleeping. Okay, Meredith, are you talking to anyone? She's talking to the Queen. Let's talk about art to the Queen, since you wanted to do that. Let's see, let's talk about... Can we not talk about art? Yes, we can. There we go. But I'm assuming this is like her wanting to talk about the history of the Coven. That's the way we interpret art, as history. So okay, she's spoken to the Queen a little bit, and I think she feels better for it. Lagatha, meanwhile, let's change to Spooky? Where is it? Spooky. I don't know if that's going to register, but we'll go ahead and do that. Who is this? I don't know who that is or what's going on, so we're going to promptly ignore it. Okay, I don't know if that helped in any way, but that's exactly what we've done. We've changed it to spooky music, which is fine. Guinevere, not doing anything interesting, but Eden wanted to speak to Elaine. So where is Elaine? She should be here. That's why I summoned her and not invited her. Because at least with the summoning, you know that they will be there for sure. Oh, she's upstairs. Okay, okay. Queenie, Elaine is up here. So let's get you changed. And then let's go speak to Elaine. See how she's adjusting to life at Castle Sheba on her own. Let's see. Where do we have get to know? Can we get to know her at all? Get to know how she's doing, maybe? Apparently not. Apparently not. Well, we'll just not fret about dancing. Maybe we'll just ask about her day. We'll just go and ask about her day, since we can't get to know her, which is very, very silly. But let's go do that. Let us go do that. Now, how many ladies? We've got 6. Who's not in the group right now? No, Catherine's in there. Lagatha, Meredith, Guinevere. Who's not in the group? Is this all? I think this is all. That's right, because we only have the 6 ladies. Oh, no, Xiomara isn't in the group. So that's fine. I suppose we'll just, once we have enough club points and we can open up another slot, we'll get Xiomara to join the group as well. Or like Eden's Court. So that's easier to summon our Sims. Especially because sometimes we do move them around to other lots to like make room during pregnancies or, you know, for story purposes. So I think it's good for that. It's easier to just summon Sims because half the time they will decline your invitation. Okay, it seems as though we cannot go ahead and ask her or like get to know her, which I suppose is fine. What is this option I saw? Asked to be woohoo partners. You guys are distantly related. You guys are distantly related. Seriously. But I suppose she doesn't count as a friend? Not a friend, what am I saying? She doesn't count as a cousin. Because they're like a bit, their mothers were cousins. So I did not expect this. But I suppose the Queen could have a romantic relationship. Or well, Guinevere and Eden could with their cousins. Which is so odd to me. So odd. But then again, the Salazars, I mean, you look at Guinevere and Eden, their parents were related. Like, their father was their mother's great uncle, so you know, they've had incestuous relationships in the past, so their bloodline is inbred at this point. The previous queens didn't do that, but I think, did it start? I don't know who it started with. I feel like it started with probably Aphrodite, actually. I think it started with Aphrodite, like breeding the blood back in. But, that's well, fascinating to say the least. But I will unpin that. I'm going to take it as we've done whatever we had to do. We wanted to speak to Elaine and we've gone ahead and done that, which is fine. How's the garden going? Xiomara, how is your garden going? Okay, it seems to be going fine. I swear, these plants look dry, but they don't want watering, so I suppose we'll just leave them be. And Catherine, she is still sleeping. She needs to get a little bit more of her energy up. And actually, I find this really sweet. I mean, her head's buried in pillows, but I find it sweet that she can share Xiomara's bed. And that totally makes sense, because this bed does belong to, I think it's been assigned to Xiomara. So that's pretty cool, but because they're a kind of a couple, they're not even officially together, I think, yet. If we look at their relationship, they are lovebirds, but they're not, like, properly together. But they do know they are very, very overtly interested in each other. But okay, while we're kind of waiting for Catherine to... Wait, oh, she's up? Okay, because we haven't done her whims. Okay, well, she doesn't have anything on right now, which is fine. But Xiomara, so I wanted to talk about this. Previously, I said that Xiomara, as the physician, is going to be in charge of making sure the ladies are well fed, and that we have, you know, like plasma flowers or blood givers who are going to be on call, so that she manages the blood supply that everyone's receiving, because we also discussed that the potion of plentiful needs is going to be a banned potion. Now, I have gone through and decided which potions are going to be unbanned and which ones are going to be banned. And basically, we have 5 unbanned potions and everything else is banned. And let me go through that. So, Potion of Good Fortune is an unbanned potion, so that can be used. Nimble Mind is an unbanned potion. Magical Aura is an unbanned potion. Emotional Stability is unbanned. And Curse Cleansing is unbanned. Everything else here is banned. So Curse Cleansing, obviously if you're cursed, go to the physician. You know, she's going to help you out with that, which makes sense. Emotional Stability, especially in times like this, I think they would need something like this to help them can get through the emotional turmoil they're going through. Magical Aura, that's mainly, I've never really used it, but I'm thinking that it might be something we give to like the queen during important occasions, so that, you know, she has this appearance of regality and divinity and being blessed by the goddess, like she's glowing with this special aura. So that's probably when we'll use that potion during events and such. Or maybe even during, you know, birthdays and whatnot, to kind of highlight who the sim of the hour is, basically, or the vampiress of the hour. And Nimble Mind, obviously that's going to help during training and studying, especially for the youngsters. And then Good Fortune, because that, as well as, you know, which, I mean, we don't need the money, so it helps you find, I think, simoleons in doing everyday activities, but also when you're making potions and moving around the castle, your sim will get more lucky with finding potion ingredients. So I felt like that would be very useful for the physician in particular to use. So there we go. Those are the unbanned potions, in case you guys were curious. Now, Plentiful Needs, we know that the vampires want to return to the primal way of doing things, which is why that's been banned. Nausea is kind of seen as a negative potion, like you're sabotaging someone else. Alluring Aura is manipulation. And then Perk Purging as well, kind of, that's considered power that you don't want to mess with, like you're tampering with things, tampering with nature. And then forced friendship is considered manipulation. Masterful insults is basically like sabotage. And then rejuvenation, immortality, transcendent trauma, resurrection, all of these things, they're kind of considered manipulation of nature. So, as well as like powerful potions that you do not want to mess with. So that is why those are banned for everyone's safety, of course. Okay, you really, Catherine, don't want to do anything else? Like nothing? Nothing at all? Okay, Catherine, she looks so cute in her sleepwear. She looks so sweet in her sleepwear. But, she's kind of ready to, kind of get over. Well, I don't know how long it's going to take her to get over this. I don't think maybe she's that ready just yet. Obviously, she knew it was something that had to be done. All the priestesses typically do this. That doesn't mean it is any easier. And I think it definitely helps to be here with everyone else. Elaine, meanwhile, even though she's evil, she definitely found the whole thing upsetting. Or, well, you know what? I'm just realizing something. We've discussed this before, but Elaine is a genius. She knows how to hide her tracks, and she's not overt in the way she displays her emotions and her intentions. And actually, it feels fitting that Elaine cried and Guinevere was laughing and Guinevere didn't cry, because Guinevere doesn't care about hiding her true nature when it comes to certain people, right? It slips through. We see it. But with Elaine, she's smart enough to put up an act of being sad and crying so that the others, they have this picture of, they have this picture of, sweet Elaine maintained in their minds. So I don't think she was actually upset. She probably wasn't. She probably was happier than Guinevere that they were gone, but she made it seem as though she was just as distraught as everyone else. Look at her, look at her, look at her walking around like it's the end of the world. She actually, I don't feel, cares. Even more so than Guinevere. This is all an act that she's putting up because she's very, very smart. And she knows exactly what she should be doing and the way she should be acting. This is the acceptable way to act. And she's trying to fit in. But okay, guys, I think this is a good time for us to wrap up the episode. So this was, mainly the fire tribute and grieving. And getting everyone's urns and tombstones sorted out. From the next episode, we are going to start our breeding, and then we also have, so we're going to be getting the queen pregnant in the next episode, and then we also have the winter escape, which is going to be happening. So I'm thinking, where's the calendar? We have the winter escape, which is typically when we go to Granite Falls, and everyone kind of gets away from the capital city, or the capital city. And everyone reflects on the past. They talk about the stories of the ancient vampires and the big things that have happened across the generations in the various bloodlines, successes, failures, all those kind of things. It's basically like a massive escape/cultural day. So, in the past, I think it was known as Vamp Fest, but it has since become a more, not a serious version of that, but it is the Winter Escape. So we are going to be doing that. We'll get the queen pregnant, and then we'll head off to the Winter Escape. So, okay, guys. Okay. We'll have to see which sim the queen decides to take on. As a potential mate for the very first child that she's going to have. So, obviously, I'll have my ideas about who I want her to breed with, but let me know if you guys have preferences. Who do you think the queen should be breeding with? I am curious as to some of the favorites that you guys have across the males that are currently here. So, okay, guys, with that said, I'm going to leave off. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.